Alright, what's up, y'all? Um, we are officially halfway through Taurus season, and I don't know, I'm excited. How are y'all feeling? Thank God, first of all, for Mars finally being back in Leo. I don't know about y'all, but I feel like I have my energy back. I feel like I have, some fire back. I am also going through a Mars return, so there's that. It's officially my time, so Mars and Leo people, rise up. This is our moment. um, but yeah, no, I feel like I have been in the season finally of getting the ball going, getting the momentum, building towards my goals and my desires. So hopefully y'all have been feeling the same. I'm gonna go ahead and get into this reading for the second half of Taurus season. As you know, we're going to do the rainbow spread with the tarot, and then we're gonna pull one of the animal spirits to accompany the message at the end. So, Spirit, please connect me with everyone who comes across this video. Please bring forward any prominent messages that you have for us as we move through the second half of Taurus season. What is it that we need to know and be aware of this time? How are we moving forward? What are we possibly experiencing during the second half of Taurus season? And how can we continue to align our energy with our highest good? Please and thank you, Spirit. Alright, so how are we coming into the second half of Taurus season? Temperance, not temperance, the Empress in the reverse, the Taurus card. What are we healing at this moment? How are we healing for the second half of Taurus season? Ace of Swords. What is the success? What are our achievements, our bright spots? Second half of Taurus season. Wheel of Fortune in the reverse. How can we stay grounded at this time? The Nine of Swords. How can we experience more serenity, more peace through the second half of Taurus season? Page of Pentacles. And last but not least, the message from Spirit. What is it that you have to say? What do you want to, what do you want us to be aware of? Or how can we best move forward at this moment? The Hermit in the reverse. Okay, so we're definitely going to be pulling some clarifiers as we go through these cards. But I'm just going to take a second here and kind of look at what's going on. We've got three majors, and then we've got three minors, but we got a court card with this Page of Pentacles, and then we have two swords cards. I definitely see mindset changes going on here, big shifts going on in our mindsets. Also, there is a paring back of excess that is going on here. Okay, so let's start coming into the second half of Taurus season. We're starting off with this Empress card in the reverse. This is the Taurus card. It's ruled by Venus, as we see the glyph here. But the Empress is all about abundance. It's about excess, fertility, birth, all of that. It's very expansive. It's very fruitful. So to have this coming through in the reverse, there is a need that, a need for us to kind of pare back on that excessive, overly indulgent type of energy. It's hedonistic in a way. So yeah, there is a paring back at the beginning of Taurus season, and this could be sensually, or it could be materially as well. I kind of want to see what else is coming through here with this Empress. What more can we say with this Empress at the beginning of Taurus season? At the beginning, not the beginning of Taurus season, but through the second half of Taurus season. The Queen of Wands. Yeah, there is some personal excess that's been going on here. Something that has to do with our sense of pleasure and our sense of desire, right? And with this Queen, how do I say this? It's not that it's like um, natural, but it just feeds some type of like lusty type of energy, if that makes sense to y'all, right? Because it's wands, it's fire, it's very driven by desire and passion and love and um, just excitement, right? So um, I feel like, especially like with this combination here with this Queen of Wands and this Empress in the reverse, there are um, ways that we fall into um, like excessive patterns, um, kind of to regulate like desire in a way, if that makes sense. Like that sense of like immediate gratification, or like when you're kind of just like thrown off a little bit, like you're naturally like reaching. Okay, so for me, this is my example, right? I like chocolate. I like candy. um, I'm more so a chocolate person when it comes to candy. But sometimes like I'll just reach for like the chocolate to calm some type of like anxiety, and that really feels like it's coming through with this Nine of Swords that's right underneath this pair. So it's like when you are getting like anxious, like thinking about, I guess, what's going on here or how we're moving forward with the second half of Taurus season. Um, there's a need to kind of retrain ourselves in how we like quell that anxiety, or yeah, relax that those nerves. So what we are healing in the second half of Taurus season, we've got the Ace of Swords coming through. I like this because there is a new like perspective that is coming into play right now. With the Ace of Swords, this is about like thoughts, it's communication, so there could even be some type of communication that's coming through in regards to like needing to pare back on certain like impulses. I feel like this Ace of Swords is like that new decision, right? When instead of reaching towards this excess, it's like that clear-minded thought, like I am making a decision to do this instead of this. Like make this decision instead of falling back on this other decision that um, is pleasing my senses in a certain type of way, but it's excessive. What more can we see with this Ace of Swords? And so if it's not like even just like making, so if this was actually communicating, this would be like telling people, like actually communicating to people that, this is like the saying no, because you have to pare back in some way. What more can you say with this Ace of Swords coming through for the healing second half of Taurus season? Seven of Pentacles in the reverse. Yeah, this is really echoing that Empress in the reverse kind of feeling, because when we have the Seven of Pentacles, Pentacles being tangible resources, like things that provide a sense of stability and security. This could be finances or physical, like property. But when you're at the seven, you're hitting that like plateau moment. There's no more like, it's not that there's no more growth, but the growth has plateaued essentially. And then when you're coming through in the reverse, it's kind of like this moment where you're realizing, hey, like you either need to like walk away with this, or there is some type of like pruning that needs to be done here so that you can restart this growth. There is a certain, there's a certain way that you have to mindfully cut through this stagnation, or cut through this the way that this excess kind of stunts your actual growth. So for the success we are coming through, the achievements for the second half of Taurus season, we've got the Wheel of Fortune in the reverse. And I actually like this card coming through as a success um, for the second half of Taurus season, because this card to me, is all about timing and cycles and periods of um, periods of growth and periods of contraction. That's like that natural ebb and flow in life, when sometimes you're on a high, sometimes you're on a low, right? So this is funny too, seeing these I was gonna say retrogrades, but reversals with this Empress and this Seven of Pentacles, because once again this is bringing forward this message of paring back, of sacrificing in some way, or releasing in some way, or this need to contract in some way, right? There is this period where things kind of need to be more minimal. The other thing with the Wheel of Fortune is that forces that move surrounding us, that change the circumstances in our lives, they are not to be controlled, right? We can't be heavy-handed with destiny, with fate. The Wheel of Fortune kind of speaks to fate in a way. And so there is a comfortability, I feel that is coming through with this wheel of fate, this wheel of destiny, and the changes that are occurring for us. And there is an intuitive way that we're understanding that, at this moment there is a need to pull back in particular ways, whether that is physical excess that you have outside of you, or ways that you become excessive out of response or reaction to challenges or anxiety or things that you have to work through, right? So there's a comfortability now that we are developing with the discomfort, with the contraction type of period, and needing to minimalize or sacrifice in order to kind of just come back to ourselves. I don't know, there's a sense of self that's coming through with the Queen of Wands, and also this Ace of Swords. It's singular, it's my thoughts, but it's a new thought, a new way of thinking. I'm gonna move on to the Nine of Swords here for the grounding. And like I said just a second ago, there is a certain way that we are developing a relationship with this discomfort, right? To have the Nine of Swords as a grounding card, it seems really hard, because one, swords have the most strife in all of the suits in tarot, but the Nine of Swords really brings up this feeling of anxiety, of stress, the things that keep you up at night, overthinking. So this is telling me, that our minds are definitely racing at this time, especially in regards to this need to pull back our energy in some way. I feel what this is showing me is that there is an awareness during the second half of Taurus season of all the moments, all the times that you have to make this decision to not reach for that excess. And we're very clear on those moments when they present themselves to us. So it's we can't get away from it. We're constantly thinking about it. We're constantly thinking about, our habit of falling into excess, destructive excess. So for our grounding energy, I feel there is this need to, sit in that discomfort, really be aware of all these moments where we have to make a different decision. We have to make a different choice, or we have to cut something out, or communicate that we don't want to be a part of something, or communicate that, something has been too much for us. This could even be like physically, with your body, with the pentacles that have come out too. Because pentacles can sometimes represent our physical body. So what more can we see with this Nine of Swords coming through for the grounding for the second half of Taurus season? The Tower in the reverse. Yeah. Like I said, like that idea of sitting with discomfort is so heavy right now. But also, I feel like the message that's coming through here with this Tower card in the reverse and this Nine of Swords for the grounding. This is a hard combo for grounding. But I think that awareness, what I'm really seeing here is we're trying to like get the ball moving, like get the ball rolling and kind of get momentum going on this way that we are changing our habits, right? And changing our like instincts, right? And I feel like, yes, there is a need to like sit in discomfort and really have that awareness of, all the moments that we end up like falling back into these habits, and knowing all those moments where we can make a different choice. Because if we're not like aware of that and we're just letting ourselves reach for this excess all the time, like we can't build a foundation, because this Tower card really destroys faulty foundations, or foundations that are not built to be sturdy. So if we're not being aware of every time that like of all the moments that we are about to like trip ourselves up, then we are not able to really build that tower to like reach that goal. And the goal is that mindset shift where we can be more comfortable with less pleasure, less excess pleasure. Okay, moving forward, how we can experience more serenity or peace at this time. We've got this Page of Pentacles. Okay, so this is a commitment, and it's a commitment to a new goal, new value, a new belief, something that could build like abundance, stable abundance, resources, security, stability, finances, money, or even like a new investment in like personal health. I want to say with the Page, like this is that one day at a time energy. It's like take those small steps now, because the small steps add up in the long run. I think the message here is, while we are kind of investing in this new goal and this new sense of self, not to get ahead of yourself and not to psych yourself out, I guess, with the responsibility of this goal, right? Because if we go into this really focused on the end goal of where we're trying to be, it can be intimidating, because it just seems so far away. It's like you don't know how you're gonna get there. But if you just take one step, if you just plant that seed and then show up when you need to and water that, and be consistent and be diligent, then that will grow over time. What more can we see with this Page of Pentacles? Why the Page of Pentacles? What else can we see with the Page of Pentacles? The Ten of Swords. Yeah. So we have the Ten of Swords. which is kind of like the down and out, the rock bottom, like hitting rock bottom card. It's swords, so it's thoughts, perceptions, way that we create meaning out of the world. This is that investment one in the ability to sit with the discomfort, of course, but an investment in the new mindset or the new way of meaning that is coming to life right now, or that we are finally deciding to commit to, right? Because this 10 of swords is already at play with this 9 and this ace, but now with this page of pentacles, it's like you feel, you're already aware of the like mindset shift that has occurred for you, right? You've already gone through this rock bottom, you've already felt this rock bottom moment, and to have this page of pentacles really representing our desire to invest in a new sense of self and a new way of meaning, and just like healthier habits, I really feel like this 10 of swords is here as the reminder to kind of keep us focused on the goal ahead of us, because we don't want to return to this mindset that took us out, you know, this excessiveness that really has been of detriment to us, rather than allowing us to grow in the meaningful ways, you know. So while we are integrating this new sense of self and making these new decisions and really shifting these habits, these excessive like habits, remember why you decided to make this change, because that's going to help you be more consistent, showing up for this new sense of value and this new sense of worth. So, the message from Spirit is the Hermit in the reverse. And the Hermit, it's kind of like that Virgo card. It represents Virgo energy. But this is the self-reflective journey. You know, this is when you go out to the cabin in the forest. I think that is a common analogy or like metaphor that is brought up with the Hermit card. Going out to the cabin in the forest on your own just to recenter. You know, the Hermit is guided by the light of this lantern, and inside the lantern is the star, which is that authentic sense of self. You know, that authentic path, wish, desire, ideal, hopes and dreams for yourself in your life experience. To have this in the reverse as the message from Spirit, you know, what this is showing me is that we're kind of on our path right now of really moving in a way that is in alignment with our authenticity and who we actually are as beings, you know, kind of separate from the way society has conditioned us, right? At this time, we're realigning with dreams and visions that are more personal, but there's not necessarily the ability at this moment to do that on your own. You know, to do that without interference from the outside world. So, like I said, once more, it's that message of being able to sit with that discomfort, because there is a path that you're walking that's completely your own, that cannot be like seen or understood by everybody, but you still have to walk that path, even though you may get interference or pushback from the outside world. What more can we see with this Hermit card in the reverse? And the Hermit card in the reverse. King of Cups in the reverse. And what else? Judgment card in the reverse. Huh. Um, so with the King of Cups coming through, it's coming through in the reverse, but the King of Cups kind of represents our ability to um, be emotionally like solid or emotionally mature. Um, the King of Cups definitely has a depthful, like compassionate, like awareness of themselves and others, but they are really good with like their emotional boundaries, right? So there is a way that they can hold back emotionally if they feel like it's benefiting them at the moment, right? So I feel like this coming through in the reverse for us right now, you know, moving forward, when it comes to like outside interference, there is a way I feel like that we need to be a little bit more forthcoming, like emotionally and with what we desire for ourselves. It just feels like there is a need to actively be more vulnerable so that, you know, even though people may not understand your direction or your path, you know, there is a kind of understanding that this is for you, that it's meant for you. I hope that makes sense. And then to have this judgment card in the reverse, you know, whenever I see whenever I see the judgment card, I'm always asking like, what's your secret, you know? But to have it in the reverse, it feels like there is definitely something that is getting ready to come back to light. Because the judgment card for me oftentimes represents like the skeletons in the closet or the things that you like bury deep down. Um, so that you don't have to see them, right? It's like you hide them. Yeah. Okay. I think the message here is yes, in regards to when it comes to societal like interference or judgment card, um, on the direction that you're moving, or yeah, the path that you're moving, there is a vulnerability that needs to come through in regards to um, how you respond to people who would possibly question like your path or your direction. And although there is a need to be more forthcoming or more vulnerable, there is also a way that you can do that, but also um, keep your truths close to you, if that makes sense. Because I feel like with this judgment card in the reverse, it's not that you are trying to hide something, right? Especially with this King of Cups. It's that you are processing this, but it's yours to process so that you can realign to yourself. And, you know, it's not for everybody else to understand. It's not for people to like weigh in on, you know? So if they don't get it, it's because they're not you. They're not supposed to get it. You know, they're not walking the same path as you. And so this goes for everybody who is figuring themselves out. You know, it's like, don't worry if other people don't understand. You can vulnerably say that, hey, I know this doesn't make sense to you, but this is my truth that I am learning and I am processing. Um, so this is what I have to do. This is where I have to put my energy. This is where I have to move forward in regards to these decisions that I'm making to cut back on certain excessive habits or patterns or commitments maybe that you've built up. So yeah, I feel like the second half of Taurus season is so heavily about that like reconstruction of mindset that is aiding this like reconstruction of self physically for some people with these pentacles, or financially, or materially. So yeah, that's what I'm seeing with the tarot for the second half of Taurus season. We're gonna pull one from the animal spirits and see what they have to say. I always love this deck because the message will either fit in nicely with the tarot spread, or it'll be a message specifically for those who are listening. So let's see what the animal spirits have to say. For the second half of Taurus season, what do we need to know, possibly embody at this time? The octopus. Alright, I've pulled this card before, but we're going to see what the booklet has to say about the octopus. Okay. So, it says, octopus. Reaching, yearning, lacking boundaries and direction. The octopus signifies a wonderfully perceptive mind paired with a lack of healthy boundaries. Unfortunately, this results in well-intended but messy relationships. The octopus entwines itself into other people's business and shares their own without restraint. They believe that's what it means to be close. If you notice after spending time with someone that you feel drained or uneasy, the essence of octopus is at play. Begin to establish healthy boundaries. Be patient and firm. It may be a very old habit to change. When in balance, it's interested, engaged, and intelligent. When out of balance, it's needy, clingy, and it lacks courage. To bring it to balance, it says space to oneself and talk therapy. Alright, so yes, I feel like this is so relevant for this spread, and the biggest thing that I am taking from this octopus card is the healthy boundaries that are being established right now. You know, that's what this Nine of Swords is about. That's what this Ten of Swords is about, and this Page of Pentacles and this Ace of Swords. I really feel like for some people, like, this is your moment of actually saying no. You know, when you've never done that before, especially when it comes to like people who oftentimes influence your decisions. Not that they're necessarily trying to like manipulate you or put something on you, but even just, you know, there could be like friendships or family relationships that you've had and that you care for, and you just want to be a part of. You know, you just want to enjoy them and you want to spend time with them, but sometimes like the way that you share time together is too excessive to a certain point, and it's of detriment to you. You know, it is the perceptive mind with a lack of healthy boundaries. That's why we're getting so many swords and pentacles, and even this King of Cups especially. The boundaries need to come to play, right? And that's why he's coming through in the reverse, because even though you are aware of your boundaries emotionally, unless you're communicating that, you know, you can still have them crossed without, you know, unintentionally crossed. So yeah. It also says, yeah, the octopus entwines itself into other people's business and shares their own without restraint. Yeah, that is really what this is. It's like, don't share too much of your business. You don't have to. But don't let people get intertwined into your business, or don't let people's, concern about what changes that you are making deter you from making those changes. So that's what I'm seeing for the second half of Taurus season. I hope that these messages resonate with y'all. Let me know what's going on. Drop a comment down below. Give me a like if this resonates with you. Share this with anybody if you feel like it would be helpful for them navigating through the second half of Taurus season. And good luck moving forward with all of this, y'all. Like I am right here with you, slowly making those like small decisions, small changes in my habits that I know are a little bit too much, that are, yeah, old habits to change. They're old habits or hard habits to change. So yeah, good luck with the second half of Taurus season, and I will see y'all next time for the beginning of Gemini season. So bye.